Once upon a time, in a quaint little village, lived a sweet young girl known by everyone as Little Red Riding Hood. With her bright smile and her heart as warm as the summer sun, she was the apple of everyone's eye. Her signature red hooded cloak, a gift from her dearly beloved grandmother, was as vibrant as Little Red Riding Hood's spirit. It was a symbol of her grandmother's love and the bond they shared. This bond was as strong and comforting as the woolen threads woven together to make her iconic cloak. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother shared many happy moments together. Their affectionate relationship was truly a sight to behold. They laughed, they sang, and they cherished their time together. One sunny morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother asked her to deliver a basket of food to her ailing grandmother. Little did she know, this was not going to be an ordinary trip through the woods. As Little Red Riding Hood skipped through the dense green forest, a sly and sinister wolf crossed her path. With a flick of his bushy tail and a gleam in his eye, the wolf approached her with a seemingly friendly grin. His voice, as smooth as honey, concealed his wicked intentions. "And where might you be headed on this fine day, little one?" he asked, feigning innocence. Little Red Riding Hood, oblivious to the danger, cheerfully shared her plans to visit her dear grandmother, who lived on the other side of the forest. The wolf's eyes lit up with mischief. An idea began to form in his cunning mind. What if he could reach the grandmother's house before Little Red Riding Hood? His stomach rumbled at the thought. With a wicked grin, the wolf dashed off, leaving Little Red Riding Hood to continue her journey. Little did she know a perilous adventure was about to unfold. Upon reaching the grandmother's house, the wolf, in a cunning disguise, tricked the old lady and took her place. Now here's how it all played out. This wolf, sneaky as they come, put on a performance worthy of an Oscar. He knocked softly on the door, mimicking the gentle tap of Little Red Riding Hood. The unsuspecting grandmother, thinking it was her sweet granddaughter, welcomed him in. As soon as he stepped inside, he wasted no time. With a swift move, he whisked the grandmother away, locking her safely in the closet, unharmed but out of sight. The wolf, with a wicked grin on his face, then turned his attention to the grandmother's wardrobe. He picked out her softest, fluffiest nightcap, the one with the little pink roses that Little Red Riding Hood loved so much. He even found a pair of her old round glasses. With these props, the wolf transformed himself into a convincing imitation of the dear old lady. Then he nestled himself in grandmother's bed, pulling the blanket just up to his snout, hiding his sharp teeth and big, bad, wolfish features. He adjusted the glasses on his snout and waited. He was ready for the next act of his deceptive play. With the grandmother hidden away, the wolf lay in wait, disguised in the grandmother's nightcap and glasses. The stage was set for Little Red Riding Hood's arrival, and the wolf couldn't wait for the curtain to rise. As Little Red Riding Hood entered, she felt something was not quite right. The room was darker than usual, the curtains drawn tight. Her grandmother's bed seemed bigger, and the figure lying in it somehow different. She approached the bed cautiously, her heart pounding. "Grandmother, what big eyes you have!" she exclaimed, noticing the unusually large orbs staring back at her. They weren't the kind twinkling eyes she was used to, but large, glinting, and rather wolfish. The figure in the bed chuckled. "All the better to see you with, my dear," it replied in a voice that was not quite her grandmother's. It was a gruff, growling voice, the voice of the forest, of wild things. Little Red Riding Hood felt a chill run down her spine. "And grandmother, what big ears you have," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. The figure grinned, revealing sharp, intimidating teeth. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," it said, its voice growing more menacing. Little Red Riding Hood took a step back. "Grandmother, what big teeth you have," she whispered, her voice barely audible. The figure in the bed couldn't resist any longer. With a roar, it threw off the covers, revealing itself to be the wicked wolf. With a gasp, Little Red Riding Hood realized that the grandmother in the bed was actually the wicked wolf. Just as the wolf lunged to gobble up Little Red Riding Hood, a brave woodsman burst in, saving the day. With a swift swing of his axe, the woodsman freed Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother from the big bad wolf. The wolf, caught by surprise, scampered away, vowing never to return to the little village again. With a sigh of relief, the family thanked the woodsman for his bravery. Little Red Riding Hood, her eyes welling up with tears, embraced her grandmother. They promised each other to be more careful in the future, understanding the danger that lurked in the woods. The village rejoiced, their hearts filled with gratitude for the brave woodsman and a newfound respect for the dangers of the forest. The tale of the big bad wolf became a cautionary story, reminding everyone of the importance of vigilance. And so, Little Red Riding Hood learned the important lesson to never stray from the path and talk to strangers. From that day forward, she always remembered to be cautious and careful.